we are going to be looking at how to convert attention into wealth in the attention economy. Jumping straight into it, we'll first look at the overview of the process. So now, Project Transformer. We have step one. Step one involves, we like to call it, knowing your audience. What is it about? Majority of creators never take the time to learn about what bothers, excites, stirs, and even angers their audiences, and make the mistake of producing content at random and not based on what the audience wants to see more of. At number two, that is the second step of Project Transformer, we have audience conditioning. What is this step about? Now, we make the audience aware of their problems or interests they have based on data that we have collected. The majority of creators never take the time to think about the fact that their audience are watching them or following them for a reason, usually due to something that they lack that the creator usually has, or a common interest that makes them connect with the creator. So we move on to step three, which is setup. We set up all the necessary infrastructure for the efficient running of the community. These include, and not limited to, set up data collectors, VSLs, CRM software, copywriting, setting up funnels, etc. This all is in the team's hands. The creator does not have to do a thing here. But generally in this video, we look at how some creators are making large amounts of money while your followers barely join your small community from Ko-fi or Patreon. Even other small creators, probably even smaller than you, why are they making more money than you from their audiences and helping their audiences in a meaningful way and not just entertaining them? Well, you might ask yourself, what small creators am I talking about? Okay, well then let's take a look at some of such creators. So we first have, Lauren here has a community of 82 members, each paying her sum of $1,000 a month. Now, since she's working with high-ticket people, that's possible with her because she's working with coaches who themselves have their own clients. So, as I've said, she's a coach for coaches. Lorraine has 676 subscribers and managed to convert a total of 82 of them into monthly paying members for her community. That is only 12.3% of total subscribers, paying her a total of $82,000 monthly. Let's look at another creator known as Rares Kaitan. Now, Raren Kaitas is a normal YouTuber turned not so normal with the establishment of his paid private community with 25,000 members or subscribers on YouTube rather. Now, looking at the statistics, if we break everything down, we see that he has 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, managed to convert a total of 82 of them into monthly paying members for his community. That is only 1.03% of total subscribers, paying him a total of $14,642 monthly. Of course, we are able to calculate that by looking at the number of members in which he has, number of members he has inside the community, and by the amount that they pay him month after month. So, firstly, looking at our overview, I know I should be starting with a disclaimer, but I decided it's best I use this as a hook before you quickly lose interest, as there will be no editing here whatsoever, or me screaming at you about whatever. But generally in this video, we look at how some creators are making large amounts of money while your followers barely join your small community from Ko-fi or Patreon. Even other small creators, probably even smaller than you, why are they making more money than you from their audiences and helping their audiences in a meaningful way and not just entertaining them? Well, you might ask yourself, what small creators am I talking about? Okay, well then let's take a look at some of such creators. So we first have Lorraine. Lorraine is now enjoying the fruits of her work, a coach for coaches. A lot of work went into the creation of Lorraine's community, as you will see in the following slides. She prioritized quality over quantity because she has a very small following on social media, as you can see on the right-hand side. That's 767 subscribers and 67 videos. So let's put that there. Right. She prioritized quality over quantity because she has a very small following on social media, as you can see. In fact, she has left the YouTube space completely, which is evident in her latest video. So Lauren here has a community of 82 members, each paying her sum of $1,000 a month. Now, since she's working with high-ticket people, that's possible with her because she's working with coaches who themselves have their own clients. So, as I've said, she's a coach for coaches. Moving on, that's just a glimpse of how a community looks like from the inside. So, in short, her community is nothing short of spectacular. Impressive work was done here, and this would never have been possible if she had not wanted to change herself and was willing to take the necessary action to achieve her freedom. You simply cannot help those who do not wish to save themselves. Now, you might ask yourself, is there anything special about Lorraine? Not at all, just a below average YouTuber who has been creating for the past 2 years, has 767 subscribers, as we have seen at the top, has very, very few views on her videos. Looking at that, we have latest with 7 months ago, 130 views, and the oldest we have 2 years ago with 81 views. So yeah, has very little views on her videos, talks on and on about coaching, of course. So let's break it down a bit. Looking at the statistics, Lorraine has 676 subscribers and managed to convert a total of 82 of them into monthly paying members for her community. That is only 12.3% of total subscribers, paying her a total of $82,000 monthly. So remember, we have 82 members, each paying $1,000 a month. So that's 82 times 1,000, which will be $82,000 a month. Moving on, let's look at another creator known as Rares Kaiten. Now, Raren Kaites is a normal YouTuber turned not so normal with the establishment of his paid private community with 25,000 members or subscribers on YouTube rather. He specializes in teaching the masses on how to make money online through selling info products. Now, build oneself, however, is of course his favorite business quote. A lot of other people in the online space of selling digital products have that saying as their daily mantra, let's say. Anything special about Rares? Nope, just a below average YouTuber who has been creating for 3 years, which is evident in his oldest video. Has 25,000 subscribers, as we have seen above. Has very few views on his videos, sorry. Talks on and on about his stuff. So moving on. Rares is what one would consider an unlucky YouTuber. He has been creating content for the past 3 years, yet none of his videos have ever gone above 10,000 views. You cannot break a determined soul. Now, looking at the statistics, if we break everything down, we see that he has 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, managed to convert a total of 82 of them into monthly paying members for his community. That is only 1.03% of total subscribers, paying him a total of $14,642 monthly. Of course, we are able to calculate that by looking at the number of members in which he has, number of members he has inside the community, and by the amount that they pay him month after month. Moving on, looking at we look at Scott. Scott's community has 141 members, $250 a month. So we will skip all of that because everything is the same after here. So breaking everything down, Scott has 100,000 subscribers and managed to convert a total of 141 of them into monthly paying members for his community. It is only 0.14% of total subscribers, paying him a total of $35,000. That's an approximation. I didn't calculate the exact number there. So in total, they pay him a total of $35,000 a month. And of course, that's evident when we're looking at that. So that's the number of members which are in the community times the amount that they pay him monthly per member. Okay, looking at another one, David Onrich. David Onrich on Instagram has 48 subscribers and his community overall has 244 members and $77 each. So we skip everything else. That's almost the same. I'll make sure to add the link to this document, I think. I should. So breaking everything down, he has 52,000 subscribers and managed to convert 44 of them into monthly paying members for his community. That is only 0.47% of total subscribers, paying him a total of $18,788 monthly. Okay, well, we can keep going, but I think you get the point. But we'll look at this one once we've gone over what we need to cover in this context. So that's Easy Gracie with 141 members, $75 a month. So again, we'll skip that. Looking at statistics, managed to convert a total of 0.24% of total subscribers, and she now makes $10,575 a month. Getting back to the document. So a disclaimer before we begin. Okay, perhaps before we look at this disclaimer, we just look at our introduction. So we won't waste any time here. You are here for the process of how to transition from just creating content and being a slave to social media networks forever to creating something meaningful for your audience that will actually push them to take action and change their lives for the better, while you receive the rewards you deserve for your work as a creator. And of course, achieve results like the other creators I have shown you above. Now, let's go back to our disclaimer. This video is specifically for creators, content creators to be very specific. However, business owners and everyone should ultimately benefit from it too. It's not for someone with a very short attention span. So if you're looking for fancy editing, dopamine, and stuff like that, this is definitely the video, as I've said before. If you take the teachings and information in this video and use them to your advantage, it should change your life for the better, or you will remember this video in whatever time your mind will be open into exactly how the world of attention works, into the world of how attention, content, and ultimately money works. And of course, you will wish you had taken the necessary action and done something about it, because you will realize that your life could be at least 3 to 5 years ahead if you had taken the necessary action. Now, if you find yourself tired or sleeping, best to close this video and come back to it once you're feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. Having your phone open while watching this video is surely the greatest waste of your time. Best you close it. I want you to put your phone on flight mode, prove that you are not really addicted to it. I know most of you will not be doing this, which proves the whole point of this document and video, that social media platforms own you. I have went into more detail about this in previous videos where I went through other 2 previous documents. So if you have not had a look at those, please do that before you come and have a look at this video. So I explain how exactly social media platforms own you as you go around carrying your phone. Now, above all, enjoy and of course, take action. Now, please again, watch the video before this one too, whether after watching this one or before watching this one, for your own good. I promise you, it is of absolute importance that you do. I've released 2 videos before this one, so please do watch those before you look at this one. Even after you look at this one, that's perfectly fine, but just make sure that you look at all of these videos. They should be 3 videos in total. I could split them into more. I will still decide on that, or just make them into 3, because they are quite long. They are quite long. Okay, we have looked at our introduction. So in summary, you are here for the process of how to transition from just creating content and being a slave to social media networks forever, to creating something meaningful for your audience that will actually push them to take action and change their lives for the better. While of course you as the creator receive the necessary rewards that you deserve for your work. Jumping straight into it, we will first look at the overview of the process. So the process overview, a brief and simple overview of the whole process. Now I have some documents prepared for this process, and that's the link to that. I'll be sure to put a link to a public link to this document so you can have a look at this for yourself. So the process overview, I and my team like to call it, we like to refer to it as Project Transformer. Now, what's Project Transformer about? We will find out soon enough. Now, Project Transformer. The following is the exact overview of steps we take with our clients on their transformation journey. We have step 1. Step 1 involves, we like to call it, knowing your audience. What is it about? Firstly, we help the creator learn about their audience. You might be shocked at this, but majority of creators never take the time to learn about what bothers, excites, stirs, and even angers their audiences, and make the mistake of producing content at random and not based on what the audience wants to see more of, and of course get help with. So we dive deep into analytics and active data collection from the audience to figure this first step out. At number 2, we have audience conditioning. That's the second step of Project Transformer. That is the second step of Project Transformer. We have audience conditioning. What is this step about? Now, we make the audience aware of their problems or interests they have based on data that we have collected. The majority of creators never take the time to think about the fact that their audience are watching them or following them for a reason, usually due to something that they lack that the creator usually has, or a common interest that makes them connect with the creator. They have to follow you for one of these 2 reasons, whether it's something that they lack that you have as a creator, or it's something that you both share in common as creator and consumer. So we dive deep into copywriting strategies that will touch the viewer's pain points, desires, and struggles, then eventually pivot to providing the solution. This language is then incorporated into the creator's content. Audience conditioning. After that is done, we move on to step 2. Step 3 rather, forgot to change that. So we move on to step 3, which is setup. Then we set up all the necessary infrastructure for the efficient running of the community. These include, and not limited to, set up data collectors, VSLs, CRM software, copywriting, setting up of funnels, etc. This all is in the team's hands. The creator does not have to do a thing here, which I guess is good for you creators. Then, of course, last but not least is launch. There's nothing to do after that but to launch and achieve the desired results as the creators that I've just shown you in the beginning of the video. With just these 3 steps, this is made possible. So then all that is left is to launch the community package for the audience, of course, where you include agency, discounts, rewards, live meetings, bonuses, etc., ensuring that the maximum number of people join the creators paid info community. We'll look at a recap of these. So step number 1, you said, is knowing your audience. Number 2, audience conditioning, to make sure that they are aware of their problems and they are in the right state of mind to purchase or pay for the solution that you are providing as a creator. Setup, which is all part of, which is done by my team. Then we proceed to launch, of course. I believe that's the end of it. So moving out of full screen for that. Okay, so getting back to the document, what we just looked at was a brief and simple overview of the whole process with the link there. I will put a link to the overall document, so you should be able to access all of these from this document. So now, of course, the steps that I've just shown you are not as simple as they sound. So I guess it would be necessary to take a detailed look into them, of course. Now, step 1 of the process, which was knowing your audience. Again, I've prepared a document for that. So let's look right into it. Right, looking at the first step of Project Transformer, we have knowing your audience. Remember, that was the first step, which of course involves. So in this document, we look at the introduction first of what the overall process of knowing your audience involves. You look at the mistake, about you, goals, your channel, observing data from your channel, collecting additional data from your audience, and conclusion. So buckle up, it's going to be a long one. You will understand these, we'll keep referring to them as we go along. So first of all, introduction. Knowing your audience is a step we consider the most important of all in this journey, because as a creator, you never want to make the mistake of producing something your audience has very little interest in, especially if you are now going to be selling that produced content. For example, say you are a fitness influencer, your audience overall follows you because of your physique, your work ethic, and stuff like that. So you do not want to be creating something about dating advice or anything of that sort. You want to create something which is in your very specific niche. And of course, it gets more complex than that. You want something very specific. For example, say you are a bodybuilder. So most of the people who follow you are probably, I would say, amazed or desire being a bodybuilder. So instead of just creating a course on bigger shoulders, you just create a full course on bodybuilding as a whole. So that's the whole point of it. Then you look at the mistake. The biggest mistake you can make as a content creator or in any profession for that matter is not studying. What do I mean by not studying? By this, we do not mean the academic side of things, no, but rather analyzing your work, tracking, comparing, and figuring out what seems to work better and people respond better to. So you can multiply and produce more of that, as well as what does not seem to work. So any further production of that can be cut immediately. So let's analyze your channel. We'll pretend it's you. If you are a guy, we'll refer to you as Tim. If you are a lady, of course, we'll refer to you as Rebecca. You are Tim or Rebecca, family known as whatever channel or you call your channel. Now, your audience is mostly, if not completely, gender, whether they are male or female. Most, if not all, the individuals follow you because you share or you teach something which we'll refer to as skill X. So you are either sharing something with your audience or you teach something to them. They have to follow you for something. They have to. Next, we look at goals. So in this first step, how do you exactly go about knowing your audience? Now, our first goal here is to observe data from your channel, make assumptions based from that data. And our second goal will be to collect data from the audience, confirm or disregard our assumptions, the assumptions that we made here. And of course, based on that, we make conclusions on exactly what our audience wants, what our audience is offended by, what our audience does not like, what our audience mostly relates to, stuff like that. What actually makes your audience tick, let's say. So moving on, our first goal is, of course, looking at data from your channel. So I've taken someone's channel here, and for privacy reasons, I have closed down everything, but we'll pretend this is your channel rather. So this is your channel, looking at those sorted by popular, and just look at the top 8 best performing videos from the long form. Of course, how to make him chase you, that has 400,000 views, 5 months. How to become magnetic, 8 months, 300,000 views. How to love, prioritize yourself, 267,000 views 6 months ago. How to see 3 people's marks, 237 views 4 months ago. And continuing in that order. Remember, we sorted them in order of popularity. So moving on, what assumptions can we make from this data? Right, number one, sorting your content in order of popularity. You observe, of course, you can do this for your channel, but that's just an example. We'll refer to that. We'll use it as an example, let's say. The videos most loved by your audience are how to make him chase you, how to become magnetic, how to love and prioritize yourself. Of course, this creator is in women's niche. Yeah, she is into women's niche, relationship, self-care, stuff like that. So how to love and prioritize yourself, how to see 3 people's masks, how to turn your brain into power, how to become more magnetic and increase your knowledge. Of course, I've taken those topics from here in decreasing order, from the very best performing to the least performing. So getting back, so assumptions we can make based on this data that you see as a third person, someone who does not own the channel. What assumptions can we make from the numbers that we have just looked at? So most of the audience are single or rather interested in any relationship advice based on the top 2 videos. Let's look at those in detail. How to make him chase you, how to become magnetic. From those, I guess we can make an assumption that most of the audience are, of course, lonely, and they're interested in relationship advice that is shared by the creator. It's something that they're mostly interested in above everything else, which we can see here. Number 2, your audience suffers from low self-esteem and self-love as a whole. Let's go and have a look at that. So why did we make that assumption? How to love and prioritize yourself. How to see through people's masks. Of course, we made from that. Your audience has trust issues, which is the case with most women. They have this idea of living in their own bubble, always protecting themselves against people who are, let's say, who do not share the same interests of them. So yes, the audience has trust issues. Number 4, they have experienced some tough times, perhaps traumas that they have not healed from. Where did we make that assumption from? Made that assumption from how to turn your pain into power, why your enemies are secretly addicted to you. Of course. Lastly, they believe they are less wise and less knowledgeable and are very much interested in changing that. Now, where did we make that assumption from? How to become more intelligent and increase your knowledge. Stop glorifying the bare minimum, meaning that they must improve or they can get better at whatever they are doing, meaning that they can get better, they can become more intelligent with whatever they are doing as women. So having made those observations from the channel and made these assumptions based on those observations, I guess it's safe to continue and look at our second goal. Remember, our first goal was to observe data from the channel, which we have done, make assumptions from that data, and we have done that as well. Now, our second goal is to collect additional data from the audience, confirm or disregard our assumptions, and of course, make conclusions. Moving on, analytics. Now we are going to be studying what exactly? While the above assumptions may be true, they are still an overview and an estimation. You as a creator have the detailed insights into your channel's data. With that in mind, here's what we wish for you to do. I wish for you to go to YouTube and follow this account. They are known as YouTube creators. Have a look at these videos of theirs. Of course, you will have access to this document, so you should be able to click on those videos. There's 2 to be specific, this one and this one. Moving on, you have to act. I need you to do the following. Screen record as much of your channel or videos analytics as you can, which we cannot do for you. You can skip that step. It's not very important. I was doing for someone else, so you can skip that. Export as much of the analytics onto a Drive folder, which will then share with us. Of course, that was for someone else again. You can skip that. You can refer to the second video now to export analytics data, or click the link below for a detailed breakdown. Of course, so it's safe to skip that. Right, now we were moving on to collecting additional data from the audience. This part is looking at or collecting at analytics from YouTube Studio, the back end of things, looking at things in more detail, which most people, majority of everyone actually cannot access and actually analyze and make reasonable conclusions from the data. Not a lot of people can actually look at analytics from YouTube Studio and from this channel and actually make reasonable assumptions from their data as to what their audience likes, dislikes, or whatever it is. Moving on, now we are moving on to collecting additional data from the audience, right? Now, as a creator, you will need to do the following: post surveys on your YouTube and other socials if possible, and write this exactly as is. So I'm still referring to the creator I've just looked at. So since you want to be broad about it first. So let's say you post something like, angels, would you guys like it if I opened up an open discussion community group where we can share our problems and provide guidance to each other? Of course, they look up to you. So most should vote yes for this, and they would be very happy to have you as their creator to consult, to ask questions and stuff like that. So you're just getting them in the mood of something that's coming. Post a poll on all your socials and ask, what topics affect you the most that you would like me to talk about more? Include the following as options. Of course, where did we take these options from? We took them from the assumptions that we made. Remember, we said the first assumption is that most of the audience are single and have some relationship interest or relationship problems. Self-care and self-love, we said they suffer from lower self-esteem and stuff like that. Fixing your issues, post-traumas, investing in self-education as a woman. Of course, from posting these polls and doing all of that stuff, you should get impressive results and get a better understanding of what your audience is in need of, what bothers them, what do they want to see more of. Of course, you do not want to continue ahead and create something that they do not want. Remember that. Now, you are more than welcome to rephrase these in a way you see fit for your audience to understand and use the language that they respond better to. Of course, we will add a twist to this as we work with you as a creator, which we will communicate with you via email. And of course, that takes about a week to do all of this research and make detailed conclusions from the data that is collected from the audience. Moving on, conclusion. You have to remember that this is the most crucial step of this whole process, and perfect collaboration is necessary for success, as we have said. For now, do execute on the above and feel free to ask any questions you might have. Okay, that's the end of this document. Moving on back to our notes. We are back on our notes. We just looked at step 1 of the process, which is that's knowing your audience. So we'll now look at step 2 of the process, which I've attached the link to that below. And of course, you'll get access to those from this exact document. So looking at the second process, audience conditioning. That's the second step of the overall process. Now let's look at that in full screen. So audience conditioning, what does this step include? Or what does it entail? What are the main characteristics of this? Let's get right into it. Audience conditioning involves, I guess it would be safe to look at the agenda first, propaganda background study, problem statement, framework, and you'll get used to those as we go along. So firstly, looking at propaganda background study. Before we dive deep into the details, let us look at the definition of propaganda. Propaganda is a form of communication aimed at influencing or persuading an audience to further a specific agenda. It can be factual or misleading, using a variety of techniques to evoke specific emotions and manipulate opinions. Of course, we'll be using propaganda in a good way with our audiences, so do not be alarmed. Moving on, we look at our problem statement. Your current content, probably as a content creator, is primarily focused on entertainment or motivation, which is fantastic. However, it is not aimed at selling a solution which will actually change your audience's life. And a very strategic shift towards this change in your audience's train of thought will be necessary in not only motivating your audience to change their lives, but providing the solution necessary for the change. I will go over that again. What is the problem statement as normal creators? Your current content is probably and primarily focused on entertainment or motivation, which is fantastic. However, it is not aimed at selling a solution that will actually change your audience's life, and a very strategic shift towards this change in your audience's train of thought will be necessary in not only motivating your audience to change their lives, but providing the solution necessary for the change. On your right, you will notice that there's a framework, the puppeteer and the platform, classic. Elaboration, the puppeteer and the platform explained in simple words. So we'll look at this framework first as to how this whole process goes. In, let's say, figurative language, then of course, we'll look at it explained in simple words. So the framework is as the puppeteer and the platform. Why understanding your audience is propaganda's master key in the grand theater of influence. Where minds are the stage of emotions, the spotlight, knowing your audience becomes the puppeteer master's key, especially when your performance involves shifting their train of thought, convincing them that your message, your solution, is the only answer to their woes. Forget concentration, think persuasion engineering. Here, selling isn't a mere transaction. It's a psychological symphony. Each note, each piece of information is meticulously chosen to resonate with their deepest desires, anxieties, and biases. You don't just offer a product, you offer salvation from their perceived problems. Now, this might sound confusing, but do not worry. It will be put into simple words in the next 3 pages. Continuing the framework, understanding your audience becomes the art of identifying their mental tracks, the pre-existing beliefs and narratives that run through their minds. Once mapped, you can strategically lay down new tracks, subtly guiding their train of thought towards your desired destination. Unwavering belief in your message, unquestioning acceptance of your solution. Remember, you're not creating passive content. You are shaping opinions, igniting emotions, and ultimately influencing actions. So, step into the shoes of the audience, become their conductor, and orchestrate their train of thought towards the station you have built, a station where your solution reigns supreme. We have looked at the framework continued, and I know it's still confusing, so now let's look at it in simple English. So the previous 2 pages, what they were saying essentially in simple English will say is, selling products in a paid community isn't child's play. You need to know your audience inside and out, especially if you are using persuasion strategies. It's not just about making catchy content. It's about getting deep into their heads and understanding what makes them tick. Think of it like this. Your message is a train and the audience is the track. If you don't know what track they're on, your train will never reach them. But if you understand their fears, desires, and beliefs, of course, you can lay down the new tracks that lead them straight to your solution. It's not about tricking them. No, it's about finding the problems they already feel and showing them how your product is the perfect answer or solution. Forget fancy words and metaphors, just speak their language and address their real concerns. Remember, you're not just selling something, you're offering them a way to fix what's bothering them. So get down to their level, understand their story, and then build a path that leads them right into your product. That's how you win in the game of persuasion. That's in simpler terms. I hope you understood that. So again, if you have the time, go back and just read those. That's metaphoric English. That is simple English. So that's essentially what everything in here is saying. We can skip that. It's of little importance. Of course, that must have been a lot. It has been a lot to me too. So you are more than welcome to go and get a glass of water if you feel like it. Or as I've said, if you feel tired, best close this video and come back when you're feeling rejuvenated and refreshed. Because this video is of absolute importance if you are a creator or anyone for that matter who has an audience or a following. So if you're feeling a little sluggish, a little tired, definitely close this video, come back to it later when you are eating or feeling rejuvenated. So we just looked at step 2 of Project Transformer, which was audience conditioning. Moving on. Now I guess it's safe to look at step 3. Well, step 3 is rather short. Step 3 just involves launching, and that's it. Once we have followed, I guess we have just 2 steps. Because remember, we had said from this, step 3 is just me and my community setting up everything. And of course, it does not involve the creator at all, which includes setup data collectors, VSL, CRM software, copywriting, set up funnels, stuff like that. So I guess after that, it's safe to say you can launch safely. Now, does it sound too good to be true? Well, if it does, that's because it is. As much as I've tried everything in my power to make you see the overall process as well as simplify it in the best way possible, it is just not that simple. Just like everything else, it is, of course, not that simple. There is some serious work that needs to be done. So, what issues might you come across when you try to do this for yourself? Not a lot, but some very serious issues. Here's a summary of a few issues you might come across when trying to make this drastic and life-changing decision as a creator. Let's look at the problems in the correct order they will come, shall we? So, beginning with the first step, which is knowing your audience. Remember, this step requires you to look at outer data from your social media following and make reasonable assumptions from a third person, as well as make detailed calculations from your channel's analytics. So, here's what you might miss. Since you are emotionally involved in your channel as a creator and owner of the channel, content and followers, you might make wrong assumptions rather and make those based on emotion and not on actual numbers. Having made the wrong assumptions, you will proceed to test the wrong data from your audience. Additionally, from YouTube Studio, Instagram, and TikTok, or any other platform you have a following for that matter, you will actually not be able to use the data and metrics given to the full extent to make calculated conclusions. Why? You simply do not have the skills, tools, or talent to do so. You are a creator for a reason. You are great at producing and creating, not at analyzing. Hence, you are a content creator, which is why you need an operator. Audience conditioning. Number two, remember you're looking at the problems that you might come across if you try to do this by yourself or with someone who is not experienced. Audience conditioning. What problems might you come across in this particular step of Project Transformer? This step requires a deep dive into copywriting strategies that will touch the viewer's pain points, desires, and struggles, then eventually pivot to providing them with the solution that you have to offer as a creator. This language needs to then be incorporated into the creator's content. Issues again. Now, if you have never taken mastery courses on copywriting or know someone who did, then well, it's best to leave it to the professional because it is a profession in its own. You might use the wrong language on your audience and disconnect from them and never be able to make them aware of their problem and the tangible solution you are trying to pass on to them. Worst case scenario is that you fail to highlight the importance of what you are proposing to your audience, as well as making them fully aware of the problems and desires that they have. Number three, here are some technical issues that you might run into if you actually try to do this with someone who's not experienced or with yourself for that matter. Lastly, we have the most important aspect of all, the behind the scenes that you are not used to as a creator. These include, and not limited to, software, collecting of emails, set up funnels, set up data collectors, VSLs, copywriting, which I just highlighted below and above, sorry, which I just copywriting, which I just highlighted above, and I will not be going into detail with that because I just did. Short form content. You definitely need a content team after the launch journey in order to market, broadcast, or highlight the wonderful solution you're offering to the masses so you can reach more people who are in need of your solution. And close-knit community package. Remember, you're not just selling something here, you are selling a solution to actual people's problems, and those people are your audiences. Structuring your paid community. Continuous addition of value so your members do not leave. You do not want people who are in there for the first month, first 2 months, and after that they just ditch you because you are not giving them value for their money. Looking at worst case scenarios, you do not seek help and never try to change your situation as well as that of your followers. So you say to yourself, I've been creating content for some time now. I'm fine. Everything is working perfect for me. I do not want any change. Do not want to offer any real solution to my followers. As long as they keep following me, liking my posts, and I shall keep posting and they'll keep watching for entertainment, motivation. And after that, they never really do anything to change their lives. If you do that, it's the worst case scenario, of course, for you and both your followers. You try to do everything on your own and do not seek help from knowledgeable people. This may result in you having very small members joining your community paid solution and most thinking you are a fraud due to miscommunication of what you are trying to do for them. Or you never grow and never do anything significant for your community or followers. You keep creating for likes and they keep consuming for entertainment and motivation, which in the end does not help them with anything and never gets them to change their lives. Now, you might ask yourself, can I help? And by I'm referring to myself. What do I know? What can I do for you? Of course, I can. I run a crowd operator agency which specializes in this exactly. I, along with my team, help creators like yourself with the transition to making something meaningful for your audience without changing your content style, values, and niche. Imagine what a greater income for you as a content creator would mean. Now, let's imagine you are actually one of the creators that we looked at in the beginning of the video. Perhaps let's look at them again. Imagine you are Easy Gracie and you actually have 141 members plus, which pay you $75 a month, and you are actually making $10,000 a month. What would that actually mean for you? How much would that extra income actually change your life? Imagine you are actually Lauren who makes $82,000. What would that do for you? How would it actually change your life? Or not even too much, just something as small as Rares here with 200 members and $57 a month, meaning that you get to actually get an extra $15,000 a month. How actually would that change your life as a creator? Would that actually mean more time with your family, more time on traveling, hosting meetup with your fans, since you now have the potential to do that with the extra income? Help those in need, donate to war-torn countries or organizations, retire your whole family. What would it mean for you? If you are brave enough to say what that will actually mean for you, I would be very interested to know that in the comments. Why have you not done this for yourself? Well, it's pretty simple. You just do not know how or fear it will not work out. But now, since I'm here, you definitely know how to do that for yourself. How can I help? My team and I have launched a campaign that is as follows. This is now my proposal to you. We are taking only 9 creators to help monetize their audience using Project Transfomer, which I just explained above. This will take a 3-month period. No onboarding after the limit of 9 is actually reached. Now, of course, as much as we'd like to help all creators out there on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it is simply impossible. So we have to filter out some. Our ideal creator is one with 10,000 plus subscribers or followers, one which is willing to change their situation and achieve the desired results, willing to work collaboratively with the team, because if you just want to do it for the money, then this will definitely not work. We want to create something meaningful for your audience as a creator. So make sure you are willing to work collaboratively with us and the team. If you connect deeply with your audience and they're authentic in your content, then you are the guy we want. Bonuses. Looking at our bonuses, now what do we have to offer you if you take action? The first 4 creators will get personal management from me. A free short form content team will be assigned to their channel after launch to spread the word about their newly created product with short form. As you know, short form content dominates the online space now. So if you do not have that, that will definitely be a win for you. We will assign growth strategies to your community after launch. We'll come up with ideas on how to grow the paid community package so more members continue to join the community and you give members value for their money continuously. Now, how do you get a hold of me and the team? Of course, you can email us at liftoffwebagency@gmail.com. Just specify your name and your social media handles, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. On Instagram, you can DM us on Liftoff Web Agency, and we'll be very happy to get back to you. So that was a long one, but I hope not too much. So if you have made it this far, in conclusion, you should really clap hands for yourself. You have learned something vital today, something 90% are definitely not aware of. In conclusion, I believe my objectives have been achieved in this video. The objectives were for you to learn the following: make you aware of the easy process of turning attention into money, as well as give more to your audience. Show you other creators like yourself who have actually done this. Offer my help to you, of course. It has been a long, I would say, I do not know of the exact time I've been recording, but it's been a while. I hope to hear from you soon, and good luck with your content creation journey.